Our selection today is Soon and Very Soon.
Soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. Hallelujah, hallelujah, we are going to see the King. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. Hallelujah, hallelujah, we're going to see the King. No more crying there, we are going to see the King. No more crying there, we are going to see the King. No more crying there, we are going to see the King. Hallelujah, hallelujah, we are going to see the King. Hallelujah, ooh, yeah.
No more dying there. Oh, we are going
to see the King.
We're coming from every nation. Oh, we are going. No more dying there. We are going
to see the King.
Oh,
hallelujah, hallelujah, we are going to see the King. Hallelujah, ooh, yeah. Should there be any rivers we must cross? Should there be any mountains we must climb? Yah will supply all the strength that we need. Give us grace till we reach the other side.
We have come from every nation. Yah knows each of us by name. Yahshua gave his blood and he washed my sins. He washed them all away. Yes, there's some of us who laid down our lives, but we all shall live again on the other side. Oh, soon and
very soon,
we are going
to see the King.
It won't be
very
long.
soon,
We are going
to see the King.
Oh, soon
and very soon,
we are going
to see the King. Hallelujah, hallelujah, we are going to see the King. Hallelujah, ooh, yeah. Hallelujah, ooh, yeah. Hallelujah, ooh, yeah.
Redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's Holy Sabbath Day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Of course, if we are paying attention, that there's a new development every day in the world turmoil. And we understand that these things are ultimately going to do some positive things as far as the redemption of children of Israel, but it's going to be a whole lot of ugliness before anything gets good. So it is important that we understand the foundation of a house and what something is built on. And this means something to Yahweh. You have to consider when even though Yahweh said Dawid was a man after his own heart, Dawid had to go to war and build the house of Israel and put Israel together as far as the tribal breakdown is concerned. But when it came down to building Yahweh's house, he had the idea to build a house for Yahweh. Yahweh said he had shed too much blood. It wasn't, and it wasn't like he didn't like this man. It's not like he didn't love this man. It was the blood on his hands that he had shed through war. Yahweh could not merge that with his house where he's going to sanctify and deal with all of these holy things. He cannot have the blood, bloody hands build that. So that means something. Even though it was somebody that Yahweh held in high esteem, high regards, he still couldn't let him build his house. But he loved him enough to all right, I'll let your son build me a house. And we know that physically that was slow-mo. But spiritually, Yahshua is called the son of Dawid. So that was ultimately the house that Yahweh was speaking of. What Dawid was speaking of was the natural house. He said, I have a house, but then there's no house for your holy things. So it meant something to him that something be set up for his Elohim. And it meant something to Yahweh about how that house was built. So it's not about who builds the house. It's about how the house is built. What are the hands like that built the house? That's something that we have to consider. Let's begin today's sermon in Matthew chapter 6. And I want to start that at verse 19.
Okay.
This is, today's sermon is entitled, The House Built Upon the Sand. The house built upon the sand. Matthew chapter 6, and we're going to start that at verse 19.
Verse 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust does corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust does corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal.
Right. If you have spiritual work stored up in Yeshua's bank account, ain't nobody going to be able to break into that bank. Nobody's going to be able to steal your works. They can steal your works physically, but they'll never be able to steal the spiritual accounting that Yahweh has accounted unto you. That ain't never going to leave you unless you do something to make that leave you. Go ahead.
For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Right. And this is something that we may not be paying attention to. Where your treasure is, there is where your heart is, meaning that's where all your attention is going to be focused. Your attention is going to be focused where you have put the majority of your time and energy. See, there's some people that say they love Yahweh. Then you watch their actions and what they put their time and their money into, and you find, no, you love something else. Because your time and energy don't go into the things that's concerning Yahweh. Your time and energy goes into something else. Go ahead.
The light of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye be single, your whole body shall be full of light. But if your eye be evil, your whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in you be darkness, how great is that darkness?
It says one bit of leaven leavens the whole lump. So the one thing that you have that causes blindness, that causes you not to see things before you clearly, it is going to cause a great amount of darkness. And if you don't understand like certain things that may not make sense, when you see like a little alarm systems and they got a motion detector, that motion detector has one beam, but then it has a lens that multiplies that one beam, and then it spreads out so that it can pick up if anybody moves. If that one little piece is messed up here, it doesn't see the whole room anymore. Now, it could just be one speck. So think about it. It's one speck that's on that motion detector that now blocks, because it spreads out, now it's blocking 20 feet worth of vision. And it's one speck. Well, that's what your eye is. That one little speck, that one little thing that you got there, if you put that one thing, your eye ain't but so big. But look at the size of the room we can see. So what happens? It spreads out. But if you put that one speck right there in front of that eye, you know how blind you just became? And that one speck is a spiritual thing, not a physical thing. Go ahead.
You know, you got to think about it with the blinder. How much of us choose to put blinders on? Because the same thing with that motion. You know, what's the question we ask? Do you have pets? What kind of pet you have? That same one little lens, we put in a pet lens. And then that lens only shoots down a certain height in that room. I see people go, oh, yeah, just that simple. We just change that lens a certain way, and it blocks the height of what that motion detector sees.
So in other words, what blinders have we purposely installed?
You know, I can see, oh, they doing wrong. Oh, wait a minute, that's my son. Well, no, it's not wrong when he did it.
Oh, that's a blinder. That's a blinder right there. Go ahead.
Verse 24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Elohim and Mammon.
And that's why you see things break up the way that they break up, because they got two masters. They're going to listen to this person and they're going to listen to that person. The problem is, those are two different doctrines. One of them serve Yahweh and the other one serve himself. Sooner or later, you're going to have to revolt against one of them. Go ahead.
Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat, or what you shall drink.
And this is what we put all our time and energy into. Trying to figure out this, trying to figure out that. Go ahead.
Nor yet for your body what you shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment? Behold the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns.
You know, we look at that differently than they would have looked at that. See, we will say we don't have clothes to put on. What we mean is we don't have multiple changes of apparel. They had clothing. What we say
Was people had already seen me in that.
it's not that we don't have. We will stand in front of a closet full of clothes.
I ain't got nothing to wear.
So what is all this?
Oh, those are clothes that I've worn.
What? You have to wonder how the angel of Yahweh looking at you like, what kind of animal is this? You have a walk-in closet full of clothes, but you come to me saying you don't have nothing to wear?
Well, you know they got the internet, Father. I don't know if you know that, if Yeshua knew that, but with the internet, they seeing me. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more better than they? Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit onto his stature?
You ever seen a man think so hard that he grew taller? Go ahead.
And why take you thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, that even Shlomo in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if Elohim so clothed the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith?
Right. Now, will he not do these things? But here's the thing. Why would he do those things? You have to do something for him to do those things. What is your focus? So you can spend all your focus trying to take care of your natural things, and it still won't be taken care of. And you put all of your energy into it. Change that energy and switch that into taking care of Yahweh's business, and then watch how he takes care of yours. Go ahead.
Therefore, take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? What shall we drink? Or, wherewithal shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek.
Now, why does he have to say this? Understand, his disciples, his people that he's sending out, they don't have this thing where they're going to get lots of money for teaching his word. See, today things have been made in a very materialized fashion. Wasn't no guarantee that they was going to have food to eat teaching his word. See, we don't take that into consideration. We just consider, hey, it's a lot of money in such and such. There's a lot of money if you tell lies every week. You get a whole lot of money. Go ahead.
For your heavenly Father knows that you have need of all these things. But seek you first the kingdom of
Wait a
Elohim.
minute. Seek you first the kingdom. Isn't it written that the first fruits belong to Yahweh? The first of your beginning, the first of your increase is supposed to go to him. Take care of the things of the kingdom. I'll take care of that. Because when you try to take care of it, you're going to do it wrong anyway. You try to get a job, you're going to get the wrong one. You try to look for a woman, you're going to pick the wrong one. You try to get a man, you're going to get the wrong one. You going to look for a car, you're going to buy the wrong car. Every time I tried to go get a car, I ended up with a different car than the one I was supposed to be going to get. I realized that Yahweh said, you so stupid. That ain't the car. Fool, look over here. That's the car you getting right there. No, first of all, I can't afford that car, and that's not the car I look. Yahweh, I've been studying. Shut up, boy. I know what I'm doing. Go over here. I get in that car every time something don't work out, and they said, well, we have this vehicle here. No, I can't afford that. Well, what can you afford? Then they said, no, they're going to bring that price down for you. So you get a better car than what you planned on, ride better than the one you were looking at, look better and cost better. But that ain't what you thought you were going. So he knew that that wasn't what you were going to get. But he let your dumb self go down there. Because if you thought about that one, you wouldn't even went.
I can't need me going down there. That's a bad man wagon. I can't afford that. I'm not going down there.
So he let you go down there thinking you finna get the Hyundai. But he got that bad man wagon over there for you. Go ahead.
And his righteousness and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for tomorrow, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof.
Right. And we put ourselves in jeopardy when we spend all of our time worrying about tomorrow that we don't take care of the things today. So you have put all of your focus and thinking about tomorrow, not paying attention to all the things that you have not done today. You can't do the things for today because you're already worrying about tomorrow. Fundamentals. You got to catch the ball before you start running. Some folks see the ball coming. They already done took off. Hey, genius, you need the ball. You got to get the ball. Then you got to run. You can't run for the ball back there. Let's go to Matthew chapter 7. And we're going to start that at verse 21.
Not everyone that says unto me, Adonai, Adonai, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that does the will of my Father which is in heaven.
He that does the will of my Father, not he that does his own will in our Father's name. He that does the will of the Father. Here's where things get interesting. Do you know what the will of the Father is? And when it comes to you, do you fight against it because it may not be popular? Do you believe that the will of the Father is pleasing unto everybody? There are times that Yahweh, especially when he got ready to split Israel getting ready to go to war, and Yahweh got to tell them, don't go up. This is of me. I did this. I've been warning y'all over and over and over to take care of this and take care of that. Now Israel shall be divided. Don't go to war. I am not with you. So his will was not pleasant unto them. But that was his will. You pray for something, but you don't know how he's going to give it to you. So the whole time you may be fighting against his will, and the whole time it's like, this is what you asked me for. But this is the only way I can give you what you're asking. I got to go this route. Because if I go that route, somebody's going to take it from me. If I go this route over here, you're going to have all these kind of problems. If I go this route, now I know this is the long way, but if I go this route, it shall never be able to be taken from you, and nobody will ever question you about it. Go ahead, bro.
You know, the sad thing is when we don't stop to figure out how Yahweh deals with us. And we said, okay, you pray for Yahweh's will to be done, but everybody else can see you pushing your own will. And the thing you're going after, everybody's going, bro, that's not for you. Sis, that's not for you. And then when they hit that brick wall, they're looking at you stupid.
Right.
Why haven't you figured this out yet? You so busy pushing your own agenda, you're not learning how that Yahweh deals with you. So you can see when it's coming and say, okay, let me back off. I'm pushing this.
Yeah, that's where we get confused between Yah's will and yo's will. We start combining them together. Yo's will, and you do the wait. Whose will?
Yo's will.
Who's yours? Well, you know, his and mine's put together. Yeah. Oh, that's what some people need to say. When we say, bro, you gonna be there? Yo's will. What? Bro, I don't think I ever heard of that. I don't. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 22. Many will say to me in that day, Adonai, Adonai, have we not prophesied in your name? And in your name have cast out devils? And in your name done many wonderful works?
Right. You can't tell the tear that it's a tear. It actually believes that it's weak. It actually believes that it is something of value. Do you understand? It says many will say to me in that day. So you mean to tell me they haven't encountered anybody in that walk that told them that wasn't right? That means they have ignored every person that spoke to him.
Well, that's just your perception.
To the point where they are so bold that they are now in front of Yahshua telling him about their works. Go ahead.
And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you.
Not I knew you at some time. I never knew you. You were never in my eyesight. Go ahead.
Depart from me, you that work lawlessness.
You that work lawlessness. We have a code that we are supposed to walk by. Now, none of us are going to be able to walk perfectly without slipping and falling here and there. But what do you do when you slip and fall? Do you just roll over in the ground, just keep rolling? You ever seen anybody fall and then just roll down the rest of the street? Like, bro, what you doing? Well, I failed, so I figured I'd just roll on to the house. Are you serious, bro? Bro, you finna roll to the house, bro? Bro, you not gonna get up? Well, I'm down here. You know, brothers turn into Eeyore, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm down here. I'm just gonna roll on. For real, bro. Get up, man. Go ahead.
Therefore, whosoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock.
Right. A rock is a stable foundation. Now, how do you build your house on a rock? See? When you talk about, even when you deal with Yahweh's law, it was carved in what? Stone. That's the rock your house is supposed to be built on. The foundation of his law. Go ahead.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house. And it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock.
Right. The house didn't move because the foundation didn't move. Because the foundation was the stone foundation of the law. Go ahead.
And everyone that hears these sayings of mine and does them not.
Now, they're going to hear his sayings. But the problem is, they're not hearing his sayings from his mouth anymore. The only people that heard the sayings from his mouth were the people in that time. Everybody else are going to hear his sayings from somebody's mouth. Do you recognize his sayings when they come from somebody else? And if you are expecting Yahshua to come to you himself, you might as well go ahead and look for the lake of fire. Put it on your GPS. See where the lake of fire is and go jump in it. Because he's not coming here just to talk to you. This is a waste of a legacy. Hey, you got to turn around here and come to everybody. Man, I left instructions. Why I need to keep coming down there and tell you everything for? Go ahead.
Shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand.
And the sand is I think, I feel, I believe. That house gonna fall. Go ahead.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it.
Right, because the foundation of the house moved. Don't matter how pretty the top was. Don't matter how well you decorated it. The foundation of the house moved because it wasn't founded upon something solid. See, when you base a relationship off how well somebody look, one day they ain't gonna look that well. If you base the relationship on, man, they fine. One day they're gonna be easy to find. So what? Now the relationship ain't good no more? Am I the only dude that ever did this? You ever made yourself look built? You do like this and just slide up in the mirror. Boy, you look big. You look built until you stand all the way up. Right. Right. Go ahead, bro.
And it came to pass, when Yahshua had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine.
Some of y'all finna go home and do that, right? Soon as they leave here, they're gonna be like, what was he talking about? Oh my God, I do look built. Uh-oh, there go the regular me. Go ahead.
For he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes.
All right, let's go to our Zechariah chapter 5. Zechariah chapter 5, and we're going to read verses 1 through 11.
Verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seeth you? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goes forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it. And every one that swears shall be cut off as on that side according to it.
So then this curse goes all over the earth and divides people according to the manner in which they operate. You notice that thieves hang out together? You notice that liars hang out together? You notice that whoremongers hang out with other whoremongers? You can tell when you're in the wrong group. They actually start to get offended by your presence. See, when you pull up, and you know, people they look at you and say, you know, hey, he look like he might be a part of our group. So you pull up, and the whoremongers automatically latch on to you because they say you look like a whore. It might be old whore in you, and maybe they can see that. So then they start speaking whorish things, wanting you to go with them, and then they figure out, nah, man, that's not how I get down. Now they offended. Because you know what happened? They just exposed their whorishness to somebody who wasn't a whore. Now they upset. And that anger gonna come out on you. Go ahead.
I'll bring it forth, says Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that swears.
Be cut off according to it. And everyone that swears shall be cut off as on that side according to it. So, he's separating them according to their things. I will bring it forth, says Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that swears falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber, the wood. Your walls gonna start lying. When it enter into the house of the liar, everything in the house turns to a liar. Go ahead, brother.
You know, when you talk about this and it's in the house, how many of us actually take consideration of our physical house that we live in? What spirit was in that house before we moved into that house? Because I've got a house across me and I've watched the people come and go. And I've said, that house seems to tear up relationships. The last few people I've seen in there, they all split. I'm like, there's something in that house. I look at my house, and the funny thing is the people that were before me had a home-based business, which happens, we now have a home-based business. Be careful of these houses. At least you know not what spirit was left behind for you.
Let me tell you something, brother. When we got ready to get this building, the people that owned it, when we were getting ready to rent our space, she said, I've interviewed several people, but I'm gonna lower this price because I want you to get it. And I said, why is that? She said, everybody that ended up being in that building somehow looked like you. She said, when I saw you, I knew you was the one gonna be in that building. And she said, and every last one of them, they in that building for a long time when they get it. She said, I'm not taking no more. And I knew the dude who was here before. And they were very cultural people. So I knew she wasn't lying. She said, no. Everybody get in that building. From the dentist. They had dentists in this building before. They said, everybody who done been in that building look like you. She said, no, you the next one. You get this. I'm not taking no more. I ain't taking nobody else's. I'm not interviewing anybody else. It's a done deal. We done. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now your eyes and see what is this that goes forth. And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephah that goes forth. He said, Moreover, this is their resemblance through all the earth. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah. And he said, This is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephah, and he cast the weight of lead upon the mouth thereof. Then lifted I up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came out two women, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork. And they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven.
And if you notice, anytime we were given any depiction of an angel, most of the times it would be a woman and it would be one with wings. Now we know that there are different angelic beings that have different forms, you know. But then when you look at the cherub that has wings, you start to realize who's being glorified with the whole winged angel thing. Because there are so many other individuals who have written about in this book who had encountered angels, and they never mention any wings. So when you examine the adversary of the devil, you find out, oh, if he was a covering cherub, then he had wings. Mm-hmm. So then who are they trying to glorify every time we see a winged angel? Go ahead.
Then said I to the angel that talked with me, Whether do these bear the ephah? And he said unto me, To build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set thereupon her own base.
And Shinar is Babel. So we're talking about Babylon. And then you have to consider the way in which this daughter of Babylon was built. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 22.
$7.94.
I think something might be out of order there. I think we should be on the graphic after that one. I think something might be out of order. Jeremiah chapter 22, and let's start that at verse 1.
Thus says Yahweh, Go down to the house of the king of Yehuda, and speak there this word, and say, Hear the word of Yahweh, O king of Yehuda, that sitteth upon the throne of David, you and your servants and your people that enter in by these gates. Thus says Yahweh, Execute you judgment and righteousness.
When you execute judgment and righteousness, do understand that a lot of things are going to come your way. You're going to be accused of a whole lot of things, because the people who you execute this judgment and righteousness upon, they don't want that. You are causing them some problems. So they're going to lash out against you. But in any house, there must be order. In any house, there must be rules. If you don't have any rules in your house, I can tell you, you are definitely building that house upon sand. If the kid get to come home and tell you what they're going to eat, I can tell you, your house, you can go ahead and plan for the fall of that house. You can put a date on it, put a stamp on it. You know, today I would like a rack of lamb. Well, I advise you to go find somewhere where the hell they make that. Because today we got rice and beans. Now you can either eat rice and beans, or you can be hungry. Well, you know, my baby don't eat that. Your baby don't eat that today. Let's see what he eat tomorrow. Now, when I say let's see what he eat tomorrow, that means we're not going to get him nothing else. See? Yeah, folk don't know how to play the game. See? No, you let the kid eat whatever the hell the kid want to eat. No. You either eat what I put on this table, or there's no El Edo. Around by 12 o'clock, boy, them rice and beans was delicious. come knocking on your door at midnight. Daddy. I act like I don't hear him. I said, Daddy. I said, huh? Is them rice and beans still in there? Yeah, they still in there. Yeah, put your name on. Because you wasn't going to eat another thing until you ate them rice and beans. I don't care if it's in the morning. You want to eat cereal? Put some milk in them rice and beans. You ain't doing nothing till you eat them. So we understand who run this house up in here. Go ahead, brother.
And deliver the spoiled out of the hand of the oppressor. And do no wrong. Do no violence to the stranger, the fatherless, nor the widow, neither shed innocent blood in this place. For if you do this thing indeed, then shall there enter in by the gates of this house kings sitting upon the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, he and his servants and his people. But if you will not hear these words, I swear by myself, says Yahweh, that this house shall become a desolation. For thus says Yahweh unto the king's house of Yehuda, you are at Gilead unto me, and the head of Lebanon. Yet surely I will make you a wilderness, and cities which are not inhabited. And I'll prepare destroyers against you, every one with his weapons. And they shall cut down your choice cedars, and cast them into the fire.
Your choice cedars, if you have things set up with choice cedars, you got some really nice, expensive stuff. That's some good wood. But if you don't take care of Yahweh's business, you building everything in vain, because he gonna knock it down. Wouldn't it make better sense to pay attention to Yahweh? What we do is we watch other people and we watch how fast the heathen are set up. So then we want to get set up at that same speed. But you got to understand something. He gonna deal with you differently than he did with the heathen. See, the heathen has a time where he's not gonna do nothing against them. And that gets confusing to those that walk in the law of Yahweh's word. It gets confusing unto us. Why are they able to do wickedness and ain't nothing happened to them? Because they're not his son. You don't go to the playground and whoop everybody else's son. You go to the playground and your son was off into some mess. You go snatch yours up. Well, Yahweh operates the same way. He come in here, he found us doing some stuff we ain't got no business. It's 5 people doing some wrong. He don't whoop but 3 people. What happened? We was all in the same congregation doing the same stuff. Why he ain't whoop but 3? Because they're the only ones that hears. Them other 2, Lucifer sent them here. Go ahead.
And many nations shall pass by this city, and they shall say every man to his neighbor, wherefore has Yahweh done thus unto this great city? Then they shall answer, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahweh their El, and worshipped other gods, and served them. Weep you not for the dead, neither bemoan him, but weep sore for him that goes away, for he shall return no more, nor see his native country.
Weep you not for the dead. They would automatically say something wrong with you. You see these dead people in houses, you're not moved. You don't let somebody steal your spirit. Go ahead.
For thus says Yahweh touching Shalem, the son of Josiah, king of Yehuda, which reigned instead of Josiah his father, which went forth out of this place. He shall not return thither any more, but he shall die in the place whither they have led him captive, and shall see this land no more. Woe unto him that builds his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that uses his neighbor's service without wages, and gives him not for his work.
And we understand how this place here was built. See, we have to deal with that on a national level and on a personal level. When judgment ends up coming to this place, you got to understand, it deserves it. It was built upon forced labor of other people. Then go into other people's land and tell them how they ought to treat their people, how they ought to deal with things. Claim that this thing is all about democracy, but all the products we have are built in places where there is no democracy. So the whole part of Western civilization stands upon oppression of somebody. So yeah, a system has been developed so that it doesn't look like oppression here. But all you do is send your products over to China where they are being oppressed, and everything we got in front of us made in the country that you claim is so evil. So why you keep buying your stuff from them? Why your companies keep sending all their blueprints over there to get everything made? You're using the cheap labor while you turn around and boast about democracy. Democracy depends on somebody working for free. Because this is the most, powerful and best democracy ever been on the planet. Right. That started with slaves working for free. Now, if you can't build your business with free labor, there's something seriously wrong with you. And you should have 100% accuracy, 100% book margin. You should have had 100. How could you fail? You had no overhead. All you got to do is keep feeding your people. Make sure they're healthy enough to be there tomorrow. That's all you had to do. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 22 and verse 14. That says, I will build me a wide house and large chambers, and cut some out windows, and it is sealed with cedar and painted with vermilion. Shall you reign because you clothe yourself in cedar? Did not your father eat and drink and do judgment and justice, and then it was well with him?
Right. Your father built his house right. But see, we're not looking at the justice and judgment part of it. We just look at, his cedar and vermilion. See, he really laid this out right here. I like how Daddy did this. You paying attention to the wrong building plan. Go ahead.
He judged the cause of the poor and needy. Then it was well with him.
Then it was well with him. Not because of his building products. Not because he picked out quality wood. That ain't why his house still standing. Go ahead.
Was not this to know me, says Yahweh?
Was not this to know me? To do these things is to know me. Why you think Yahshua said a whole bunch of people gonna come to me saying that they did this, and he said, I never knew you? Why you think he said, was this not to know me? You ain't know me and I ain't never known you. Because if you had known me, you would have operated differently. If you had known me, there are some things that would have never flew out of your mouth. You ain't know me. Go ahead.
But your eyes and your heart are not but for your covetousness, and for to shed innocent blood, and for oppression, and for violence to do it. Therefore thus says Yahweh concerning Jehoiakim, the son of Uzziah, king of Yehuda, they shall not lament for him, saying, Ah, my brother, or Ah, sister. They shall not lament for him, saying, Ah, master, or Ah, his glory. He shall be buried with the burial of an ass, drawn and cast forth beyond the gates of Jerusalem. Go up to Lebanon and cry, and lift up your voice in Bashan, and cry from the passages, for all your lovers are destroyed. I spake unto you in your prosperity, but you said, I will not hear.
And this is our problem. Yahweh brings us something, but because we think we got it going on, we ain't hearing him. Man, our bills paid. We got a car and a spare car. Man, what? We ain't listening. So then for him to make us hear a little bit, see, it's something blocking our hearing. Yahweh, what is that that's blocking your hearing? Oh, that must be that car. Let me move that out the way. Oh, you still can't hear me. What is that blocking you? That must be your wife. Let me move that out the way. Oh, you still can't hear me? That must be that job. Let me move that out the way. You still can't hear me? That must be your house. Let me move that out the way. Oh, now you hear me. Oh, you can hear me clear now. Oh, yeah. Because now you're standing unclothed in the middle of the street. There's nothing blocking your hearing and your sight now. Wow, miraculous. But if we could do that while still having the stuff, you get to keep your stuff. how much of your stuff you get to keep is all dependent on how long it takes you to listen and see. You are the one that forces him to take stuff. He didn't take it because he just saw joy in taking your stuff. No. He took the stuff because it was getting in the way of y'all relationship. Say, you know, you used to call me every day when it was just you and me. And then I said, man, look at my servant. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bless him with a woman. Flat out. Look at that. I picked out something nice for you, too. Look at that. Look at that. I know you like it because you can't stop looking at it. I know you like it. See, I picked this out right for you. Now I ain't heard from you in 6 months. You know what? Give me back that woman. You go over there to his house. Now woe is me. Why? You gave him no choice but to do it. What did you think he was going to do? Did you think that he was going to let a gift override the gift giver? Did you think that? Then you don't know him. You don't know him at all. No gift overrides the gift giver. No gift. Go ahead.
This has been your manner from your youth.
This has been your manner from your youth. You ain't changed. I saw this in you when you was knee-high to a frog. It's been in you. Go ahead.
That you obeyeth not my voice. The wind shall eat up all your pastures, and your lovers shall go into captivity. Surely then shall you be ashamed and confounded for all your wickedness.
Then you will be ashamed. The wind shall eat up all your pastors, and your lovers shall go into captivity. Those are the ones you gave your chief time, money, and energy into. Those are the things that you put before Yahweh. Then when he take them from you, then you're ashamed. Because that's where you done put all your time and energy, and now it has disappeared in front of your eyes. But the things concerning the kingdom, that's the foundation. That's the rock. It don't go nowhere. Go ahead.
O inhabitant of Lebanon, that maketh your nest in the cedars, how gracious shall you be when pangs come upon you, the pain as of a woman in travail. As I live, says Yahweh, though Coniah the son of Jehoiakim, king of Yehudah, were the signet upon my right hand, yet would I pluck you thence. And I'll give you into the hand of them that seek your life, and into the hand of them whose face you feareth, even into the hand of Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, and into the hand of the Chaldeans. And I'll cast you out, and your mother that bare you, into another country where you were not born, and there shall you die. But to the land whereunto they desire to return, thither shall they not return. Is this man Coniah a despised, broken idol? Is he a vessel wherein is no pleasure? Wherefore are they cast out, he and his seed, and are cast into a land which they know not? O earth, 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 hear the word of Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh, write you this man childless, a man that shall not prosper in his days. For no man of his seed shall prosper, sitting upon the throne of David, and ruling any more in Yehudah.
So there are things that can be done so evil in a house that it basically stunts the growth of the house from there on out. And that's something that we have to consider. I think we need to back up one on the graphic there. As it is written, be not afraid when your enemy prospers. It is with the establishment of your enemy's house does Yahweh create the opportunity for that man to receive the fruit of his works. If he has stolen and disassembled to build his house, so shall it be done in his house. If he has spoken lies against his brethren and coveted their stuff, so shall it be done in his house. If he has perverted and misled the defenseless, so shall the defenseless in his house be misled of another. Man can strengthen his house on every side and make his rounds nightly to secure it. Yet all of this shall come to naught, as the curse shall not be prevented from entering into the house because of the deeds used to build his house. Remember the words of Adonai-Bezek. Adonai-Bezek fled, and they pursued after him and caught him. and cut off his thumbs and his great toes. And Adonai-Bezek said, 70 kings, having their thumbs and their great toes cut off, gathered their meat under my table. As I have done, so Elohim has requited me. The judgment for how one has built his house ends up returning unto his house. And that brings, there was some things asked about, different people having, or different congregations having different holy days and all of these things. And a lot of times we end up putting focus on things that Yahweh is looking past in judgment. You think Yahweh is going to look at them and deal with them because their holy days are wrong? No, he's going to judge them because their heart's wrong. We focus on all the wrong things. I watch how people end up misusing this word, especially, and it has come to my attention on several occasions, back to back, when it comes down to women. People end up, reminding the women how, they can't leave because it's the word. But then the brother don't conform himself to anything that's in the word. And when they meet Yahweh, he is going to deal with them exactly how they've dealt with other people. So make sure you remember what you do, so you won't be confused when Yahshua do it to you. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 13.
Ezekiel chapter 13 and verse 1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesy, and say you unto them that prophesy out of their own hearts, hear you the word of Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh Elohim, Woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. O Israel, your prophets are like the foxes in the deserts. You have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of Yahweh. They have seen vanity and lying divination, saying, Yahweh says, and Yahweh has not sent them, and they have made others to hope that they would confirm the word. Have you not seen a vain vision, and have you not spoken a lying divination? Whereas you say, Yahweh says it, albeit I have not spoken. Therefore, thus says the Adonai, because you have spoken vanity and seen lies, therefore, behold, I am against you, says the Adonai. And mine hand shall be upon the prophets that see vanity and that divine lies. They shall not be in the assembly of my people, neither shall they be written in the writing of the house of Israel.
Right. So if we don't correct the things that we do, then Yahweh is going to remove us from his house. Go ahead.
Neither shall they enter into the land of Israel, and you shall know that I am the Adonai.
Right. They should not enter into the land of Israel, because that's his house too. See, we don't consider that. See, we got little sanctuaries that are his houses, but then his ultimate house is the land of Israel. And he let heathens take control of it because of how we dealt with it. So don't think we get to go back and do the things that the heathen are doing now. We can't do none of that. Go ahead.
Because they have seduced my people, saying, peace, and there was no peace.
Right. And that's what we like to do. Proclaim peace. Because it sounds good. But ain't gonna be no peace while you shedding blood. Go ahead.
And one built up a wall, and, lo, others daubed it with untempered mortar. Say unto them which daub it with untempered mortar, that it shall fall. There shall be an overflowing shower. Oh, there shall be an overflowing shower, and you, O great hailstones, shall fall, and a stormy wind shall rend it. Lo, when the wall is fallen, shall it not be said unto you, where is the daubing wherewith you have daubed it? Therefore, thus says the Adonai, I will even rend it with a stormy wind in my fury, and there shall be an overflowing shower in mine anger, and great hailstones in my fury to consume it.
Even though you have put untempered mortar to hold it up and make it stronger, the stronger you try to make it, the stronger Yahweh gonna make the wind to knock it down. Go ahead.
So will I break down the wall that you have daubed with untempered mortar, and bring it down to the ground, so that the foundation thereof shall be discovered, and it shall fall, and you shall be consumed in the midst thereof, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. Thus will I accomplish my wrath upon the wall, and upon them that have daubed it with untempered mortar, and will say unto you, the wall is no more, neither they that daubed it. To wit, the prophets of Israel, which prophesy concerning Jerusalem, and which see visions of peace for her, and there is no peace, says the Adonai Yah. Likewise, you son of man, set your face against the daughters of your people, which prophesy out of their own heart, and prophesy you against them, and say, thus says the Adonai Yah, woe to the women that sew pillows to all armholes, and make kerchiefs upon the head of every stature to hunt souls. Will you hunt the souls of my people, and will you save the souls alive that come onto you?
Right. And when you get right down to it, you watch how people move, and you see that they soul hunting. They'll come in and latch on to whoever that is that they think they can convince to go about and deal with things the way that they deal with it. They soul hunting. You notice the people who come in and want to run some old slick business scheme. You notice they don't start in my office, right? They catch y'all by the water cooler. Hey, brother, I got a wonderful business opportunity. Oh, yeah? Won't you go tell that dude up there? By the time I find out, about 4 or 5 of y'all done already got hit. And the first thing should have been, yeah, man, that sounds really good. Come here, Esaac. This brother said he got a wonderful business opportunity. Now go ahead and tell him what you told me. That would have been the end of the pyramid scheme right there. That's all they needed to do. Because see, they stopped talking when I came around the corner. They be in the midst of telling y'all their wonderful pyramid scheme. I come around the corner. What's the problem? Why y'all stop talking? Huh? Right. And then you let them keep it secret. That's how they was able to get over on you. By pulling you aside and convincing you, they gonna do such and such, so don't talk to them about this. That's how you get ahead. No, you bring all that out in the light. See, when you want to see where the roach is at, you got to flip the light on quick. Go ahead.
Verse 19. And will you pollute me among my people for handfuls of barley and for pieces of bread, to slay the souls that should not die, and to save the souls alive that should not live, by your lying to my people that hear your lies?
Mm-hmm. And as it is written, all liars shall have their part in the lake that burns with fire and brimstone. We don't even consider that. And you find when that curse come through, it took the whoremongers, it took the liars. You notice the liars went with other liars. The whoremongers went with other whoremongers. The curse divided them. That's why my elder used to say, no. You need to let it go on long enough so that it'll get everybody that's sympathetic to it. See, if you cut it off real quick, you only get 2 liars, but it's 4 liars. See, it's 4 liars and 3 whoremongers. If you cut off the first whoremonger, the other 2 jump back in the bushes. Now you need to let them come on out, so you can take care of all of it together. Go ahead.
Wherefore thus says the Adonai Yah, behold, I'm against your pillows, wherewith you there hunt the souls to make them fly. And I'll tear them from your arms, and will let the souls go, even the souls that you hunt to make them fly. Your kerchiefs also will I tear, and deliver my people out of your hand, and they shall be no more in your hand to be hunted. And you shall know that I am Yahweh. Because with lies you have made the heart of the righteous sad, whom I have not made sad, and strengthened the hands of the wicked, that he should not return from his wicked way, by promising him life.
Right. And we do that just by hanging out with the wicked. See? We make the wicked feel good in their wickedness by allowing them to be a part, even though we know what they off into. See, you know somebody just robbed the bank and you let them hide in your house. You go to jail for harboring a fugitive. They don't just let you off. No. You made a decision. You knew what they were into and you hid them. How did we hide them? When it came down to the time to speak about the actions, we keep silent. You just harbored a fugitive. Go ahead.
Therefore you shall see no more vanity, nor divine divinations. For I'll deliver my people out of your hand, and you shall know that I am Yahweh.
All right, let's go to Proverbs Chapter 7. Proverbs chapter 7, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with you. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of your eye.
Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of your eye. When something is the apple of your eye, it has importance unto you. So you can tell when people like their cars, they go to the front door just to look out the window. You finna go somewhere? No, I just want to look at it. Brother, you just came by this. You just came by to look at it. Yeah, I know, but I saw it from the left angle. Oh, okay. Okay. You didn't see the right side. Oh, okay. Right. Go ahead.
Bind them upon your fingers, write them upon the table of your heart. Say unto wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding your kinswoman, that they may keep you from the strange woman, from the stranger which flatters with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths, a young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house.
Right. And that's what evil looks for. A young man void of understanding. And void of understanding, we may think, this individual is intelligent. No. That individual might have knowledge. Knowledge and wisdom ain't the same thing. Knowledge is one thing. Wisdom is knowing how to use the knowledge that you have. So you can have somebody that know how to put out a fire, but then the fire come and all they do is scream. None of their knowledge helped them when the fire broke out. You can have somebody that knows when fire get on you, you stop, drop, and roll. But then when fire get on them, they take off running and bring more wind and make the fire bigger. Well, then the knowledge didn't help them. Because they didn't have any wisdom that went along with how to use that knowledge. Go ahead.
In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows.
Right. This is the erroneous doctrines that we get off into. They make us feel real special. They give us a soft kiss. Invite us in to their gatherings. And if you simple of heart, simple of mind, you end up being seduced by a strange doctrine. Go ahead.
Therefore came I forth to meet you, diligently to seek your face, and I have found you. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves. For the good man is not at home. He is gone a long journey.
The good man is not at home. The good man. So the good man provided all this that you finna use for something else. See, people don't understand when they become the harlot in this story. The good man provided that for his house. But when the good man wasn't looking, you use his substance to entertain your own flesh. You gonna answer for that? Go ahead.
He has taken a bag of money with him, and will come home at the day appointed. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. He goes after her straightway, as an ox goes to the slaughter, or as a fowl to the correction of the stocks.
As a fool.
Or as a fool to the correction of the stocks. Till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hasteth to the snare, and knows not that it is for his life.
And knows not that it is for his life. Till a dart strike through his liver, and as a bird hastens to the snare. Not knowing that you just walked into a trap. Go ahead.
Hearken unto me now, therefore, O you children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Let not your heart decline to her ways, go not astray in her paths. For she has cast down many wounded, yea, many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death.
Right. Let's go to Proverbs Chapter 2.
Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 10. When wisdom enters into your heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto your soul, discretion shall preserve you, understanding shall keep you.
When wisdom enters into your heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto your soul, discretion shall preserve you. So then the presence of that has two things. You have wisdom, then you have knowledge, which brings forth understanding. See, if you just have knowledge, you still don't understand. Go ahead.
To deliver you from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaks froward things.
Right. Because there was no wisdom, there is no discretion. That's why there is no protection from the false doctrine that's coming from the evil man. As it is written, my sheep hear my voice. So you have to wonder, the lost sheep, whose voice did they hear? Why did they go in a different direction? Go ahead.
Who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked, and they froward in their paths. To deliver you from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flatters with her words, which forsaketh the God of her youth, and forgotteth the covenant of her Elohim.
Right. Forsakes the God of her youth. You have some that were raised up in this word. But then they forget the God of their youth. They forget the covenant of their Elohim. Because they want to go out and find themselves. And while finding themselves, they're losing Yahweh. Go ahead.
For her house inclines unto death,
Her house inclines unto death. Go ahead.
and her paths unto the dead. None that go on to her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life.
Right. They entertain that to a point that there's no return. Go ahead.
That you may walk in the way of good men, and keep the paths of the righteous. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressors shall be rooted out of it.
All right, let's go to our Psalms chapter 7.
Psalms chapter 7 and verse 1. O Yahweh, my Elohim, in you do I put my trust. Save me from all them that persecute me, and deliver me.
And these are things that we're going to have to seriously consider and think about. A lot of times, we want to deal with, the knowledge aspect of something. But when you look at, the turmoil that war brings, we are so distant from it because the only thing we do is we see it on television. But when we have to feel that, some of these very things that we don't pay much attention to, they're going to be great in your mind. When you have to walk through rubble, walk through a building and hope that it don't fall through on your way walking through it because it's been bombed and burnt up. We don't have to deal with it. And not having to deal with those things has gotten us extremely spoiled. That it's going to cause us some issues when it comes. Go ahead.
Lest he tear my soul like a lion, rending it in pieces, while there's none to deliver. O Yahweh, my Elohim, if I have done this, if there be lawlessness in my hands, if I have rewarded evil unto him that was at peace with me.
Right. If you have rewarded evil to them that was at peace with you, then you have broken the covenant. See, that's an automatic covenant of peace between two individuals who have had no altercation. For what reason did you break that covenant of peace? Go ahead.
Yea, I have delivered him that without cause is mine enemy. Let the enemy persecute my soul, and take it. Yea, let him tread down my life upon the earth, and lay mine honor in the dust. Arise, O Yahweh, in your anger. Lift up yourself because of the rage of mine enemies, and awake for me to the judgment that you have commanded.
Understand, we are sitting here watching as the same people that act like America would be bankrupt if they gave us reparations. And they give away billions like it's nothing. They just go print some more money. They just go back out to the shed in the back and just print some more. Put the printing press on double. They shipping money all over the place. Yet there's no standardized health care here. But in 30 days, less than 30 days, you can send $1 billion. And sending more. That's just what you sent in the last 30 days to one place. You can go to all these other places and send stuff, but you can't take care of the people down the street. Woe to her that builds her house by unrighteousness and by oppression. Go ahead.
So shall the congregation of the people compass you about. For their sakes, therefore, return you on high. Yahweh shall judge the people. Judge me, O Yahweh, according to my righteousness and according to mine integrity that is in me. O let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For the righteous Elohim tries the hearts and reins. My defense is of Elohim, which saves the upright in heart. Elohim judges the righteous, and Elohim is angry with the wicked every day. If he turn not, he will whet his sword. He has bent his bow and made it ready.
Verse 11. Elohim judges the righteous. Okay? He judges the righteous. He's going to deal with them. Why? Because he wants them to fix that. Elohim judges the righteous, and Elohim is angry with the wicked every day. The wicked won't be corrected. See, when you deal with this, that he judges the righteous, righteous don't mean perfect. Righteous don't mean without sin. He's still going to judge the righteous. If a tree brings forth fruit, he purges it so that it bring forth more fruit. He ain't purging it to kill it. But some of them branches wasn't right. So those he had to clip off. 2 branches gonna grow out where he clipped that one. Go ahead.
He has also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordains his arrows against the persecutors. Behold, he travaileth with lawlessness, and has conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood. He made a pit and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made.
Right. When you fall into a ditch and you see that screw, that shovel, look and see who name on it. Now, how my name get in this shovel? Because you the one dug that hole. That's your shovel. But you dug that hole for somebody else. Go ahead.
His mischief shall return upon his own head.
His mischief shall return upon his own head. How you build a house, how that house is going to operate is going to flow in the same manner. Go ahead.
And his violent dealings shall come down upon his own pate.
Right. The violent dealings that he did somewhere else, it is interesting. When those violent dealings return back to those people, they act like harm has been done to them. You have to wonder how these other countries feel when they hear the bold talk that comes from the West. Then y'all invade us and take all our natural resources to build your computers and cell phones, and to hear you talk about us is a slap in the face. And you know what's funny, if you get into reading some of those articles, they talking about, you know, hey, we're gonna block this of Russia, we're gonna block this from all these countries. You know, them places where they're getting the diamonds at, you know, they're not blocking it. Somehow the diamonds just roll right through. Now, isn't that peculiar? Why y'all ain't boycotting that? Go ahead.
I'll praise Yahweh according to his righteousness, and will sing praises to the name of Yahweh Most High.
Right. I will sing praises to Yahweh the Most High. Let's go to Yohanan chapter 3. And we're going to start that at verse 16.
For Elohim so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish.
Right. And when there is belief, there is action that goes along with that belief. This is why Yeshua says, those that come to me saying, Master, Master, they won't all be admitted into the kingdom. They will claim that they've done works. But he's going to say to them, get away from me, you worker of lawlessness. I never knew you. So then when we consider these things, if you believe, there's more to belief than just saying it out of your mouth. If you believe in working, then I must assume you got a job. You find people talking about, yeah, I believe in such and such. All right, so what time you going to work? Oh, well, I ain't, you know, see what it happened. Oh, so you don't really believe in work like that. You just believe with your mouth. You believe with your mouth. That's why your mouth keep running. Where's the action that's supposed to be accompanied with that? Go ahead.
But have everlasting life. For Elohim sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but the world through him might be saved. He that believes on him is not condemned, but he that believes not is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of Elohim. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil.
Right. So, but then what did they do when it came down to dealing with Yeshua or Barabbas? They chose the darkness. See, the light testifies against them. This is why they have to avoid you. You are bringing forth a light to the things that they don't do. Folk may carry the same book. You start mentioning the Sabbath, they got to get out of it. You shine your light shining too much. They got to go because they know they don't keep that. They know what it say. Go ahead.
For everyone that does evil hates the light.
Everyone that does evil hates the light. That's why Houdini made the song, The Freaks Come Out at Night. Freaks don't come out in the daytime. Too many people looking at them. Go ahead.
Neither comes to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved.
Neither comes to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. So since they don't want to be corrected, those deeds have to be done in secret. So they got to have secret communication, secret conversation. Why can't you have a conversation? Everybody sitting right here. You could have had that conversation with everybody at one time. But you had secret communication with people in the corners, sending private text messages, having private text groups. Why you do that? Everybody in the same room. Why you gotta have secret communication? You operate in darkness because you know it's evil. Go ahead.
But he that does truth comes to the light.
He that does truth, he don't have to sneak. You ever seen a man get off work and tiptoe and sneak into his own house? That's his house. What the hell he tiptoeing for? You ever seen a man get off work and tiptoe around the back, let up the window to the bathroom, and slither in the house? What the hell he do that for? No. Wickedness operates that way. See, he that doesn't enter to the door is a thief. What you going around the back of the house going to the window for? That is the operation of a thief. And if it moved like a duck, and it quacked like a duck, it's a duck. Go ahead.
But he that does truth comes to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they were wrought in Elohim.
Keep going, bro.
After these things came Yahshua and his disciples into the land of Judea, and there he tarried with them, and baptized. And Johanan also was baptizing in Enon, near to Salem, because there was much water there, and they came and were baptized. For Johanan was not yet cast into prison. Then there arose a question between some of Yohanan's disciples and the Yehudis about purifying.
Yohanan cast into prison. You know, when we deal with things, it's one of those things as far as things that we have done wrong. You consider a man believing in the word so strongly that as he reproves people because of what's in this word, he faces bodily harm. He hasn't stolen from anybody. He hasn't lied to anybody. What has given him his problem is truth. You're going to find that truth going to bring you way more problems than a lie ever will. But that is why liars lie, to avoid the problem of the truth. The truth will definitely bring you some issues. Go ahead, bro.
You know, brother, for verse 22, for all those the ones who are against water baptism, where they love to stop, but Yahshua baptized not. It says, after these things came Yahshua and his disciples into the land of Judea, and there he tarried with them and baptized. So Yahshua is part of some baptism going on, right? Him and his disciples, right?
Right. And it was already being done. They was doing it in his name already. So you have what people use to deal with their false doctrine, and it doesn't add up. But that they can keep doing what they want to do, they find a way to deal with those things. And you have to consider, how you letting some unbaptized, unborn fetus teach you? It says, unless you be born again, you shall not enter into the kingdom. Then you let a fetus, this a grown fetus, it might be 30 years old, you letting a fetus teach you? According to this word, it says, after they were baptized and hands was laid upon them, then the Spirit came on them. What spirit they teaching with? Because they ain't been in no water. They ain't confessed no name. What spirit are they dealing with? And you letting the fetus teach you? At some point, you got to look in the mirror and say, who's the bigger fool here, me or the fetus? Now, when we consider how the evil hates the light, we have to consider some things. Now, as it is written, he has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. Once a light is shined upon a man's deeds, you don't have to separate yourself from them. They will separate themselves from you. They will distance themselves from you, even while being in your presence. You will find all of a sudden your calls are not being returned. What did you do to them? You were a light that shined against their darkness. So instead of cleaning themselves, they just cleanse themselves of you. And they do this while still being in your presence, speaking against you to others in your circle, giving you no choice but to separate. Now, I once knew an established distributor of street pharmaceuticals who found himself in a precarious situation. This street pharmaceutical industry is organized in levels just like everything else. So where there is a big distributor, there lies near even a bigger distributor. So this individual found himself in a distribution disagreement. Because of the aggressive nature of the larger distribution network, this individual sought out my couch to speak and calm his nerves concerning the possible carnage that could result if this accounting disparity was not corrected. When the situation was over, I basically never heard from the pharmacist again. What happened? What happened is the light was shined upon this individual's fear and weakness. Instead of repairing his weakness, he chose to separate himself from those who were aware of his fear and weakness. Let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 17. And we're not holding y'all today as far as, so you know that we have a couple of baptisms today. Praise Yahweh. And, you know, this, because of, you know, being, you know, in the hospital and all those other things, this is the first baptism that we've held in a while. So praise Yahweh. And we got a few more coming after this. So Yahweh be praised for that. Proverbs chapter 17. And let's start this at verse 1.
Better is a dry morsel and quietness therewith than an house full of sacrifices with strife. A wise servant shall have rule over a son that causes shame, and shall have part of the inheritance among the brethren. The fining pot is for silver, and the furnace for gold, but Yahweh tries the hearts. A wicked doer gives heed to false lips.
Pay attention to that now. A wicked doer gives heed to false lips. So that means the question has to be asked, how is it so easy for you to believe that lie? Go ahead.
And a liar gives ear to a naughty tongue.
A liar gives ear to a naughty tongue. So the liar looks for people who operate in such a way that they will believe the lie. Go ahead.
Whoso mocks the poor reproaches his maker, and he that is glad at calamities shall not be unpunished. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are their fathers. Excellent speech becomes not a fool, much less do lying lips a prince.
When you read this, you constantly come across this lying thing. Then you get in Revelation and read where it says murderers, liars, covetous, and then all liars shall have their part in the lake that burns with fire and brimstone. And I think it amazes us that he holds lying right beside murder. And you watch how easy folks are lie. Folks put lying in writing. It is utterly amazing because we don't see things the way Yahweh sees them. And then we don't really see the lake of fire that way. You know, I was watching some program and it was showing, you know, their Valhalla. Well, they this is where, you know, we get this cremation stuff from, where they put the body. This was part of the Vikings operation. They put the body on the raft and set it on fire. Well, and then they push it off in the water. So that means that they in the lake of fire. That is a strange I don't want to be a part of no lake and no fire. Yahweh says, from the dust you were taken, from the dust you shall return. But then we listen to other people, and now you got people who call themselves Christians or believers or whatever. They believe in this book, but they want to be set on fire. They don't understand. That's Valhalla rising. That's what you follow. You're following the Vikings. Well, you want to be set on fire and then have your ashes spread in the water. If you got ash and water, you got a lake of fire. You done already spoke judgment on yourself and you don't even know it. Go ahead.
A gift is as a precious stone in the eyes of him that has it. Whithersoever it turneth, it prospers. He that covers a transgression seeks love.
Right. But that's not how you get rewarded. You cover somebody's transgression, you trying to deal with them, you know. But in the meanwhile, people don't understand that you're trying to help the individual. Go ahead.
But he that repeats a matter separates very friends. A reproof enters more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. An evil man seeks only rebellion. Therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him.
Check this out. It says reproof enters more into a wise man. That means you can correct a wise man and he will change before you can hit a fool 100 times. You can hit a fool 100 times and he's still gonna be a fool. You correct a wise man one time and he has grown. See, that means you wasting your time with that fool. You done hit that fool 100 times. And you know what he gonna be on 101? Still a fool. So all gonna happen is he gonna be swole and you gonna be sweaty. So you got swole and sweaty and he's still a fool. Go ahead.
Let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man rather than a fool in his folly. Whoso rewards evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house.
Right. Yahweh remembers how people dealt with situations. See, when we read Jeremiah 50 and 51, he says, no, let what has been done, what she has done, let it be done unto her. So this is how Yahweh, you know, you look and your enemy looks like he's prospering. No. Yahweh is giving your enemy an opportunity to feel what you have felt. No, they came in your house and did all kind of evil. Now Yahweh gonna give them a house. And then he gonna let evil come in their house. So that you understand what you made those people to deal with. Go ahead.
The beginning of strife is as when one lets out water. Therefore leave off contention before it be meddled with. He that justifies the wicked and he that condemns the just, even they both are abomination to Yah.
They both are abomination. See, he that justifies the wicked and he that condemns the just, they gonna go hand in hand. See, those are birds of a feather. That's why they hanging together. But they both are abominable unto Yahweh. See, one of them justifies the wicked, the other one condemns the just. They're the same. Go ahead.
Wherefore is there a price in the hand of a fool to get wisdom, seeing he has no heart to it? A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. A man void of understanding strikes hands and becomes surety in the presence of his friend. He loves transgressions that loveth strife. And he that exalts his gate seeks destruction. He that has a froward heart finds no good, and he that has a perverse tongue falls into mischief. He that begetteth a fool does it to his sorrow, and the father of a fool has no joy.
The father of a fool has no joy. He know his son a fool. You can act like you don't know. But he see the dealings of his son. He know his son a fool. And you can see the fake smile from a mile away. Go ahead.
A merry heart does good like a medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones. A wicked man takes a gift out of the bosom to pervert the ways of judgment. Wisdom is before him that has understanding, but the eyes of a fool are in the ends of the earth.
Verse 23, a wicked man takes a gift out of the bosom to pervert the ways of judgment. So when it comes down to righteous judgment, it's one thing until it's somebody that we cool with. Now the judgment is wicked because it happened to our friend. You got to understand something. When Yahweh gave us this law, you got to understand the law didn't just apply to everybody else. The law applied to your house too. When it says, and all the children of Israel shall stone them. Do you understand that you got to pick up a stone and throw it at your own family member when they transgress Yahweh's law? Do you understand how difficult that was? And if you wanted to avoid that, then you got in their face about this law. You didn't just let them do wrong. No, you jumped in their stuff. Do you understand? If you keep this up, I got to throw a stone at you. Once we encounter that a time or two, I guarantee you we deal with this culture differently. Won't nobody be able to send you no more secret texts and let you hear secret recordings and do all that. You ain't gonna let that happen no more. Once you have to stand through one stoning and your hands got to throw the rock, you ain't gonna want that to happen to you nor anybody else in your family. That's the power of what righteous judgment is for. And when righteous judgment does not happen, people are emboldened to keep on going. See, I bet, you know, a lot of us are so accustomed to the culture here that we don't pay attention. Man, you realize in Saudi Arabia and places like that, you realize they still beheading people. They just cut off like 32 heads. They had like a mass beheading like last month or something. You know, apparently they had 2 heads for one special. I don't know. They still chopping off heads. So you got people who like to lie. If they start cutting off lips and tongue, I guarantee you folks stop lying. And you gonna know you're dealing with a liar. You say, how you doing, bro?
I'm fine.
What?
I think I'm fine. Oh.
Right. When a brother show up with that nub, you know he been stealing. They done cut his hand off. Now he can't even steal right no more. Because he ain't got both hands to do it with. Not only is he ashamed because everybody know he's a thief, but it's hard to steal with one hand. Go ahead.
A foolish son is a grief to his father, and bitterness to her that bear him.
But that's if they not fools themselves. Because see, when they are fools themselves, they believe that they are all in sport. The mother, the son, the mother, the father, and the foolish son. They all are on one accord because they're all fools. See, this is dealing with a foolish son is a grief to his father and bitterness to her that bear him. Only if the parents are trying to walk in the righteousness of the law. That's the only way a foolish son causes a problem. If they are not trying to walk in the law, their foolish son is not a problem to them. They actually proud of the fool. Go ahead.
Also, to punish the just is not good, nor to strike princes for equity. He that has knowledge spares his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Even a fool, when he holds his peace, is counted wise, and he that shuts his lips is esteemed a man of understanding.
Right. There are things that even though the fool may spout all kind of things out of his mouth, you don't let them get you to that point where you are speaking other people's business because they are. Let the fool be the fool. Yahweh gonna take care of his business. And let every man pay attention to how he has built his house. Let every man pay attention to the foundation of what his house is built upon. Because the things that we got coming toward us, we're gonna have to answer for how we have built our houses. That's all that we're gonna do for today. But it's a flicker, ain't it? Shabbat shalom.